You're welcome back. This is Beyond the Headlines on Prime Morning. Now, one of the biggest stories that has captured the national attention in the past few days is the Sputnik V vaccination contract saga. And I received a message from a friend that I want to share with you as I start this conversation. Now, he started out by saying the Minister of Health, during his appearance before the ad hoc committee between the 16th of A and 20th of July, indicated that, to the best of his knowledge, no money had been paid to the Sheikh for the Sputnik V vaccines. And this is Sheikh Maktoum of the royal family of Dubai, right? Now, on the 3rd of August, however, he caused a letter to be written to the committee that he had discovered some payments had been made. Attachment in the said 3rd of August, Attachment in the said 3rd of August letter indicated that on the 21st of July, Alhaji Inusa Yusuf, head of legal affairs at the Ministry of Health, had sent an email to request the refund of 50% advance initial payment for the first lot of 300,000 doses. This email was responded to on the 25th of July by Sabor Karamat, the legal counsel for the Sheikh, indicating that the ministry should formally write to acknowledge the termination of the contract and request the refund. That the minister, in a letter dated 2nd of August, wrote to officially request the refund of the 50% advance payment. From the above, it is clear that someone knew before or on the 21st of July that payments had been made. This was a day after the minister's final appearance before the ad hoc committee, yet it took him 15 days to inform them that he hadn't been accurate in his initial commentary. So the questions we have on reading this are: what caused the over 2-week delay in communicating the evidence of payment to the committee? Why was the official request for a refund of the advance payment written on the 2nd of August not included in the attachment of correspondence to the committee? And based on the fact that the minister had delayed for up to 15 days in communicating the supposed new information, could something have precipitated the correspondence of the 3rd of August? Could something have caused that correspondence of 3rd of August? These are just questions that we put out. Like I said, I received them from a friend, was thinking through them. I decided to share with you. And helping us to think through these issues will be anti-corruption campaigner, former executive director of Ghana Integrity Initiative, Vitus Azim. Mr. Azim, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
So you've seen the progression of the events from the very beginning to this point where we have seen 2 letters, one from the Ministry of Health requesting the refund of money and another from the Sheikh's office accepting that a refund will be made. What's your assessment of the issues that have petered out so far?
You see, when this thing came out and everybody was jumping to the defense of the minister, I put on my Facebook page that there's a particular institution that should be having the relevant information about this transaction. And it's not every government official should be coming out to defend these things. You see, somebody initiated the transaction. Somebody initiated the request for payment for the monies. That person should be the one to tell Parliament that, yes, I requested and that I have followed up and found out that the money has been paid. For the minister to say in Parliament that he is not aware that the money has been paid, I still saying that he and his director are not in tune with how things are happening in the department, the ministry. Can the Minister of Finance just go ahead and pay money without getting instructions from the Minister of Health? So it appears initially there were attempts to try to suppress the truth. But with the pressures mounting on the minister and the ministry, they are now coming out to expose these things. And I think if you appear before a committee and speak on oath that what you are going to say is true and that it's only the truth that you are going to say, if it turns out that you did not speak the truth, that is enough for you to be sanctioned for that.
Okay. Now, so what you are saying is that it's your suspicion that the health minister did not say the truth when he went before the committee?
Either that, or there's a serious disconnect between the minister and his chief director, and even the Minister of Finance.
Okay.
And we don't expect that to happen among government institutions.
So let's take that scenario, since it's possible. If it is possible indeed that the minister went to the committee from 16th to 20th of July and said to the best of his knowledge, no money had been paid. Now, on the 21st of July, his head of legal had written an email to request for refund of the monies, right? And then on the 3rd of August, the minister wrote back to the committee to say that the monies had been paid. He's been made aware that monies had been paid. If this is the case, even if the minister was indeed not aware, is it not grounds enough for sanctioning, considering the fact that there has been negligence to the extent that a letter, monies have been paid, a request has been made for refund, and then the minister becomes aware? Is that not enough grounds for sanction on its own?
That is enough grounds for sanctions. But of course, we are assuming that there's no attempt to undermine the minister. It is possible that some people in the ministry are doing things without the knowledge of the minister. And so much as we think that the minister should be sanctioned, if he can prove that certain things took place behind his back, then those people who were engaged in such transactions should also be brought to book. But of course, at the end of the day, the minister is the overall head of the ministry, and he should be responsible. It's now left to him to take action on the subordinates that probably try to undermine him, if that was the situation. But for now, let's say that the minister did not tell the truth to Parliament, and so he should be subject to some sanctions.
Why do you lean towards that conclusion, Mr. Azim?
Pardon?
Why should we say that he did not tell the truth? I mean, playing the devil's advocate, why do we lean towards that conclusion that he did not tell the truth to Parliament?
Because he has now written a letter asking for the refund of the money. When did it come to his attention that the monies were paid? Did he check to find out who requested for the payment to be made? What action has he taken against that person who asked for the payment to be made without his knowledge, without his authority?
So in your view, if the minister indeed wants to purge himself, if I can use that expression, what he would need to do is carry out action against these persons who may or may not have openly undermined him and defied him.
Yes, and prove that he was actually not aware of what happened. That it only came to his notice after the actions have been taken.
Let's talk about the finance ministry. Now, I'm bringing this in as a special case because in the past, we have seen that the former Minister for Works and Housing, Samuel Atachia, in the matter of the Saglemi housing scandal, which is currently in court, he stated in a radio interview that it is possible someone at the finance ministry also has questions to answer. Because when some of the approval of payments came from the Works and Housing Ministry, they were not approvals he had made personally. Of course, the persons that he accused are currently facing a court proceeding. But what is happening at the finance ministry, in your view, that would mean that a payment is made and a minister can come and say that I was not aware that payments have been made?
You see, there are procedures for these payments to be made. Maybe you are even supposed to receive. Somebody would have looked at the contract and said that there's a need for you to pay, like if you're asking for an advance. It will have been contained in the contract that you are supposed to pay an advance before they make the first delivery or whatever. Who instructed the person in the Ministry of Finance to go ahead and make the payment? Is the Minister of Finance aware of that instruction? And did he endorse it? So yes, definitely there are questions also at the Ministry of Finance to answer. And that creates more confusion in the sense that maybe some of these transactions took place outside the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Health.
When you say some of these...
the Minister of Health should have been bold enough to say, yes, some of these things took place outside my ministry. I don't know about it. Because I still don't believe that the minister alone could have just gone ahead and carried out the agreement and everything without consulting a single other public official, minister, and got the approval without the president's knowledge and just went ahead to order this. It's a huge amount of money that we're spending. And especially at the time there was an emergency, everybody was scared. What are we supposed to do? I don't think that the minister just sits in his office and takes decisions on these things without consulting his boss and colleague ministers. Okay. Especially the Attorney General.
Okay, so here we have a question where it's become clear from the conversation that we are having. First of all, the minister could not have acted on his own. Secondly, even if the minister were acting on his own, he would need to be sanctioned. And even if the minister should not be sanctioned, someone must take responsibility. But we are speaking at the end of the sittings of an ad hoc parliamentary committee. The minister is taking action to retrieve the monies. Mr. Azim, what can a state do in this case to ensure that people are held responsible and then, of course, these monies are recovered?
We have a Public Procurement Act. It spells what you should do if you contravene the provisions of the Act. The ad hoc committee has made it clear that the minister did certain things that were not in line with the provisions of the Public Procurement Act. What the committee failed to do was to make recommendations for sanctions against the minister and whoever else was involved in the transaction. But of course, it's now left to the executive, the president, to do something about it. And that's why people are calling for the minister himself to resign. I even don't think that the minister should have waited till today. I've admitted before Parliament he did not think properly before all those 1, 2, 3, 4 things. The minister himself should have just bowed out. He's a respectable person. So we don't, I mean, it's obvious that some action should have to be taken against the minister and whoever was involved. And as I said, unless he can prove that some of the things were done behind him. In that case, those people who were involved in those actions should also be sanctioned.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. And what you said about the Public Procurement Act and its breaches are true. I mean, it was stated clearly that parliamentary approval was not sought before this contract was entered into. And then, of course, even cabinet approval was not sought. So it looks like a very unilateral move by the health minister. However, if you can help us, for the sake of my viewers, refresh us on some of these sanctions and who should carry out these sanctions. Is it the police? Is it the presidency? Is it the Public Procurement Authority itself? Where should we go from here?
I'm not holding the act with me, but the act spells out sanctions. I would believe that the appointing authority would impose those sanctions. You know the Ajay Boateng case. So you are the appointing authority. All this information has come to your attention. You cannot sit down or look at this, continue. Even the Public Procurement Authority is under the president. The president appoints the head and all that, and sometimes some management staff. So the president could also direct, if at all is the Public Procurement Authority is supposed to take action, and they are not taking action, the president should be able to ask them to take action. Even if he himself is not supposed to take action, he can direct them to take action.
I'm trying to find this section where I can look immediately at what is happening in there. However, it's quite clear that the press, from what you're saying, that the president himself must immediately take action. But my question is, what about the Office of Special Prosecutor? Casely-Hayford is new. You
see, there is a committee that has already taken action. An ad hoc committee of Parliament has investigated the matter. They haven't recommended prosecution. Office of Special Prosecutor has not conducted any investigation to arrive at the decision that he should be prosecuted. In fact, the new public prosecutor is he was just sworn in last week and get it settled. But you see, there are different institutions that should collaborate. So if even the Office of Special Prosecutor has not done anything about it or has not doing anything about it, the ad hoc committee of Parliament has made their findings. And they've left it hanging, which was unfortunate.
You believe that the committee should have recommended sanctions?
And that has not happened.
You believe that the committee should have recommended sanctions?
I think so.
Do you think it demonstrates a lack of commitment to effectively deal with this from, a parliament that, in spite of the nuances of this particular parliament in Ghana has notoriously been known to toe the line of the executive? You think this shows a lack of commitment?
Parliamentarians have always defended each other. Even if whether you are in opposition or in the ruling party, there's always this thing, we need to protect each other. It has happened before. There were cases of corruption and the committee of parliament was investigating. And the question was, shouldn't we be protecting each other? And that's why I've always said that, you see, it's not proper for an institution to investigate its own when there are serious allegations of misappropriation or actions that contravene the Constitution or the law. Even if, yes, Parliament should invest, can they appoint an independent body or get one or two people in the ad hoc committee to carry out this investigation? Why should Parliament always constitute their own to investigate their own? And it's not new. It has been happening since 1992. It's just like there's a problem in the army, and the army constitutes a body to investigate, or in the police, and the police start to say they're going to do some investigation, or whichever organization. If there's a serious problem in that organization that needs investigation, either you just set up an independent body, or at least bring in one or two independent people to be part of that investigation. It gives credence to your findings and guidance to what you finally recommend.
Okay.
In Ghana, immediately you say, you yourselves are going to investigate, the public already has some suspicion that there will be an attempt to cover up for the person.
Yeah, and some argue that this is evidence in the events that played out in Parliament on Friday night, where the second Deputy Speaker, there was an attempt to move a motion of censure to add that to the sanctions of the committee. And then the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament adjourned that vote until, October, by which time it's said by some that attention of the public will not really be on this matter. Some call this an attempt to scuttle the process of seeking justice.
I completely agree with those people. It is an attempt, or it is even, it's a way of just, again, shielding their own. And this is not good for the reputation of Parliament. And especially the second Deputy Speaker, where he belongs.
But he's an independent member of Parliament, but he is...
Well, we know where he was before he became an independent member. And I don't think that party loyalty is something that he can just walk away from. Apart from being a parliamentarian, also being the habit of parliamentarians trying to defend themselves, to cover themselves, he also belongs originally to a political party that will be affected if the decision is taken in a certain direction. Otherwise, why do you bring a report? You know you are going to recess. Then you say, no, you are going to adjourn until October.
Right. Mr. Vitus Azim, I just want to find out some of the persons in civil society and the anti-corruption space. We have not heard certain voices in civil society and the anti-corruption space on this matter. What will be your word to those in the public who have not spoken on this?
Well, for some time now, there have been some concerns about the silence of some, I don't think we can just generalize, but some civil society organizations with regards to issues like this. So I think that they need to work against the impressions that have been created in the public that because of some reasons, some of them are very silent. There's always an issue. If you have a conflict of interest, then you leave. You don't stay there and not carry out your mandate. So that's just briefly what I can say. I don't want to go beyond that.
Any particular civil society organizations you're thinking of?
I have just said I don't want to go beyond that.
Mr. Azim, we are very grateful that you joined us this morning.
Thank you.
Right. Vitus Azim is the former executive director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. He's an anti-corruption campaigner. We will take a quick breather and come back. When we come back, we'll move into a couple of other issues. But very interesting, these issues that are raging about the health minister and the issues that we have seen coming out in Parliament in the past couple of days. We will open the phone lines, but we'll be right back to deal with a number of other issues. Stay with us. You're live on Prime Morning. This is Beyond the Headlines. Sydney Casely-Hayford is with us on the line. We want to quickly get into this health minister issue with him as well before we leave it off. Mr. Casely-Hayford, we are very grateful for your time. Occupy Ghana has put out a statement saying that the health minister must resign. For the sake of those viewers who have not read the details of it, what are your reasons?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What are what?
Your reasons. Why must he resign? I mean, for the sake of those who haven't read the statement.
Why must he resign?
Yes, the health minister.
Oh, there's about some $6 million of money that has been paid from Ghana government coffers to a third party to buy vaccines, and we don't have the vaccines. Isn't that reason enough to ask him to leave?
First and foremost, the parliamentary committee asked him to refund $2.8 million. His letter to the Sheikh Maktoum is asking him to refund $2.4 million. But you mentioned $6 million. Please educate us, Mr. Casely-Hayford.
Well, that's the cost of the contract, isn't it?
The total cost.
The total cost of the contract is $6 million. The advance paid was $2.85 million. And we're asking him to bring that back. If he doesn't succeed in getting it, he has committed the country to $6 million of drugs.
This is an amount that was agreed. I mean, the Sheikh has written back that, look, I'll give back the 2.47 million. I believe you've seen that letter where it gives details that, look, you give back that money. Should that not suffice?
No.
Why not?
We need to understand how he managed to get that money paid without the appropriate authorizations. How was he able to have the money released? There's a loophole in the way we make these payments. We need to understand. It's not enough to get back.
Pardon me, Mr. Casely-Hayford, the line was not very clear at the point.
The coffers of Ghana. How did it happen? Without parliamentary approval.
Now, you are a financial analyst. Parliament requested for 2.8 million and the health minister wrote asking for 2.4 million. Yes. How is it that we are having two different sums of money here?
I don't know. We are going to get into that soon. We don't have enough paperwork. I mean, what happened and who has got the numbers right or wrong. So, first things first, we should ask him to leave. President should sack him. Then we will get into the nitty-gritty of that whole transaction and find who the other culprits are. How did he manage to get that money out of Controller and Accountant General's Department? Out of the... And how did he manage to negotiate a contract, which is an international contract, with the Parliament approval? This has to be got into. That and speculating about it for he's still in office, so we need him to leave.
Okay, so let me. It's quite straight. It looks quite straightforward. Of course, the president can simply ask Mr. Jimameni to leave, but because an ad hoc committee of parliament has done public sittings on this matter, we must first of all ask ourselves what can be done. I know that the Public Procurement Authority, the Public Procurement Act, has its sanctions. I was talking about it earlier with Vitus Azim, but these are jail terms and penalty units. Who do you expect to act immediately on this? Should it be the special prosecutor to start criminal prosecutions? Should it be the president to immediately sack him and that's it? Which body would you direct your advocacy out currently?
What body? Is it what body would I direct?
Yes, if I mean currently with the millions listening to you now, who would you address immediately that he should act immediately on this matter?
For now, it's in Parliament's bosom, isn't it? For now, Parliament is investigating. They said they've written their position paper to the floor to the members of Parliament, and they have left it to them to make a decision. So that's where it is now. For now, that's where it is. Until Parliament makes a kind of noise and we are not satisfied, we will wade into it.
So when you say we will wade into it, you are saying that if Parliament does not satisfy you with their action, Occupy Ghana will take a step on this?
Yes, we will decide what our next step should be. But we don't want to preempt it and go and start saying things when we don't know what they are thinking. Let's hear what their mind is, then we'll to start our mind as well.
But Parliament is on recess. They are coming back in October. There's a lot of public concern about this matter. Anger, if I can even use that expression. You want us to wait till October, till Parliament comes back?
We cannot do anything until Parliament has decided on the matter. To rush into it and to start making aspersions and saying things. We're not a political party. We're not an opposition party. We're not fighting any parliament here. We are trying to promote what we consider to be good governance. So until we hear what Parliament has to say, and if they are on recess, Parliament can decide to call members of Parliament back from their recess, come and deal with the matter if they think it's sufficiently important. If not, then we will wait for them. October will come.
Why wait for them? Vitus Azim was with us earlier. He was saying that the mere fact that this is being adjourned to October in the first place is symptomatic of a problem that Parliament has, which is a culture of protecting its own. And he said he actually expressed his appointment in the Second Deputy Speaker of Parliament for delaying this matter because it could have been decided on Friday. Now it's being moved to October. Why wait for a Parliament which, an anti-corruption campaigner with the pedigree of Vitus Azim is castigating in this light?
Well, he has his strategy and he has his tactics. I cannot be railroaded into doing something which I'm not ready to do. I will wait. Patience moves mountains. I will wait for them to come back if they come back any earlier. I will wait for them to come back in October, and then we'll deal with the matter then. This matter will not go away. We will find an answer to it for too long.
And those actions will be decided, those specific actions will be decided after Parliament sits on it.
When we know what Parliament wants to do, Parliament takes a decision, then we will know what our next should be.
Sydney Casely-Hayford, thank you very much for your time this morning.
You are very welcome.
Saying Casely-Hayford there, member of Occupy Ghana. Occupy Ghana last night put out a statement calling for the resignation of Kweku Agyemang. It's actually on the front page of the New Crusading Guide newspaper. We ended the conversation there with him saying that Occupy Ghana will follow up on this matter after Parliament reaches a final decision on the reports that was laid before it last week. This is Beyond the Headlines.